guys, it's Mary. I know I haven't been filming videos for a while, but I was actually pretty sick with a cold, and it was not the coronavirus, but I was still, not feeling very well. And I had also to postpone my vaccination because, and actually it is today. Today I'm gonna get vaccinated, finally. But because I was not feeling well, I couldn't get vaccinated. And also it's not that I couldn't, I think technically I could because I didn't have a fever or something, but yeah, I just didn't want to feel potentially worse than I was already feeling. And so that's why I didn't film videos really, because my voice was all croaky, and yes, it was just not a good sight. Today I wanted to film a haul video, a small haul and a catch-up. This was actually the plan, but I was gathering the books that I have acquired these past sort of 2, 3, 4 months, and there are not a lot, for being such a long time, because I sort of limited myself to 1 or 2 books a month, but still they are quite a few, so I don't know if I'll have time to do a catch-up as well. So let's just talk about the books now. They're not in any particular order. I'll just start from the top here, and this is The House at Pooh Corner by A.A. Milne. I read recently the first book in the Pooh series, and I don't know how many there are, but I for sure wanted to get the second one as well. It's very sweet. It's a beloved children's book, and it's actually fascinating, even the story of especially the real Christopher Robin. And now that I know that there is a non-fiction book, sort of memoir that he wrote, I think he wrote actually more than one, I'm really eager to check out that one, because I just want to hear his perspective on the whole Pooh, Winnie the Pooh legacy. But yeah, this is supposed to be very sweet, and I was missing some of the, well-known characters in the first one, so I wanted to get on with the series. Then we have Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. This is a book that it's been a minute since I actually put this book on my TBR. I never read any Butler, and I know that she's more on the sci-fi sort of genre, which is not my favorite. But this book involves time travel, and that's my favorite trope in books, well, in fiction in general. So I really think from the premise of the book that I'm really going to enjoy this one. Basically, this woman gets transported into the past. I don't know how, I don't really want to know too much, but she's a black woman, and she goes back to where slavery is a thing still, and so going back for her, it's not fun, as it might be for many adventures when the past is involved. But anyway, I cannot wait to get to this one. I know that I say that for a lot of books, and I don't know why I do this to myself, but I leave for last the books that I most want to check out, as some sort of reward in my mind, and first I have to get to the books that I don't really want to read, or that I had acquired for some reason that are still there, or they're not sure about. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, I really want to read this one. This is the most recent one that I purchased, A Little Treat, and this is Roverandom by J.R.R. Tolkien, and I previously read Roverandom when I was, I believe, same time that I read The Lord of the Rings, so I must have been 12 or something, maybe 13, because it was after The Lord of the Rings that I read this one. And I remember really enjoying this one, even though I think this is targeted towards smaller children, probably. But anyway, I didn't read, I haven't read the book again after that first time, and I don't remember anything about this, but only that it is about a dog, sort of, I think, a sort of magical dog, possibly it flies, but I don't remember, and yeah, I think Tolkien had written this story for his son, but I just want to check out this book once again, because I know that it would be great to revisit the whole story, especially since I don't remember. Because rereading The Lord of the Rings was great, but I did remember everything that happened there, because that one was sort of ingrained in my mind and in my soul, and this one was not. So and this edition, so it's very small, but it's so pretty. It's a little hardback, and inside there's illustrations. It's just so beautiful, so beautiful. And then we have Heaven by Mieko Kawakami. I previously read Breasts and Eggs by this author, and it was a very interesting reading experience. I did enjoy the book, but I had some mixed thoughts about that one, and I actually filmed a video review for that book, which I'm going to leave a link to down below. And I said in the review that I really enjoyed her writing style though, and I really wanted to read more of her. And I believe this one is new. It's not from her backlist. I think it's, this was published after Breasts and Eggs. Yes, 2021. It's a new release, guys. Aren't you excited? I never read new releases. But yes, I really am eager to get to this one. It talks about a 14-year-old boy that gets bullied because he has a lazy eye. And yeah, I just don't really want to know more about this. I don't want to have any, too high expectations for this one. But yeah. And it is translated, I forget to say this, from the Japanese by Sam Bett and David Boyd, which I believe are the same translators for Breasts and Eggs, which is great. Next up we have a book that I had purchased, I think 2 months ago, roughly, for the Invisible Cities project, which I'm doing. Yeah, I'm really not doing well with that project, but this was the pick for North Korea, and it was actually a book that I had already on my TBR, but I just thought, well, since we're doing North Korea, let's just buy it, And this is a non-fiction book called Dear Leader by Jin-Sung, and this is also translated, I believe, I'm pretty sure. Shirley Lee. This is a fascinating story about the author having to run away from North Korea because he was part of the counterintelligence. It was an officer there, and since he had access to some documents and secrets, about the state, when some documents are missing, he basically needs to flee, and that's the story. That's the whole story, and it just sounds so fascinating. But I really wanted to finish Wild Swans first. I know it has nothing to do with that one, but it's also, there's also a lot of politics, and I just don't want to mix things up. And I wanted to finish that one first and then get to this. But since I'm still reading Wild Swans, this is still here on my immediate TBR. I do want to get to this one right afterwards, though. Then on to books that I purchased, but that I either already read or I am currently reading. So we have this one, which I'm so happy about. This is Women with Attention Deficit Disorder by Sari Solden, and it was so hard to get a copy of this book. I tried like twice, and then there were problems with the delivery or the item. I don't know, this is used, of course, because it doesn't exist anymore, I guess, anywhere. And I was reading this one on my phone because it is available on Scribd. But I really, really wanted to have, physical book that I could hold, that I could tab, that I could annotate. I just don't like to do that on Kindle or, on the phone. I just wanted, the real deal, because I really am enjoying this one so much. I'm almost halfway through, and I feel like this is going to be a 5-star read for me. It's just perfect. It talks about ADHD, which is, what I was diagnosed with last December, and it's with the focus on women in particular, and it's just perfect. So I'll stop gushing now, but I'm happy that I finally found a copy. Then we have this chunker, which I read, I finished it yesterday, and this is A Little Life by Hanya Hanagihara. So I'm not going to talk about this book. I know this is a very polarizing book, which is why I really had this urge. I mean, I put this book on my TBR in 2015 when it came out, and I hadn't read it yet, but I was always very curious about where I would stand, you know, because a lot of people that I love and trust and adore opinions of, I don't know if this is the correct phrase, well, I really trust their opinions, and they hated this one. And other people that I also love and adore and yada yada, they did love this book. So I was curious. I mean, I had a feeling that I would enjoy this one. It's a very sad story. I do love sad stories, stories that make me think, that challenge me. This book, I really enjoyed it. I'm one of those people. What can I say? I really enjoyed it. This was a 5-star read for me. I don't want to talk about, you know, this book now, but yeah, it was an experience. I'll talk about this in my wrap up. Next is a book that I am reading currently again, and this is another book by Maria Montessori. I actually don't know. I mean, I should have looked it up, but of course this is in the original Italian. But I believe there is an English translation, so if there is, I'm just going to put maybe the title here, since it's such a pretty cover, isn't it? But yes, I love Maria Montessori. She's the best. I wish she was my grandma or something. I already read 2 books by her, and this is the 3rd, and she's just so wise, so ahead. I couldn't think of the word. So ahead of her time. It's fascinating to read. It's also a bit enraging because she says things that we're still ignoring nowadays. We still don't know. We still don't give children the dignity they deserve. Yeah. So I mean, she's a genius, and I love her. And I want to read, and I will read everything that she read slowly but surely. Probably I should have just prefaced who she is. She was an Italian doctor and an educator for children, especially children with special needs. She did found a big school movement, which is, you know, the Montessori method is actually well known all around the world, and actually here in Italy it's not even that, I mean, it's popular, people know what it is, but they don't really apply it, not even in school. There are very few Montessori schools here, so it's just, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because she was such a good person, with such a complicated and hard life as well. But she was great. And yes, so I've been babbling on really for too long now. I think this is gonna be it. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you read any of the books that I mentioned, what you thought, and we can chat in the comments as usual. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!